Dynamite Download. Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive of all elite. Big I forgot to put us back. I love that part too. Technical difficulties. We got it now. I love that part with the toothpick just goes right to the thing. That's freaking awesome. Love it.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it in the NWO for life.
For life.
Well, before we get started, I gotta say, man, it's pretty strange. Just every year on 9/11, you know, it's just such a crazy, surreal event. And of course, what happened, it really changed everything for all of us. And I flew today. I've flown on 9/11 before, but I flew today, and it's kind of a really eerie. It's always an eerie feeling flying on 9/11. I've flown in and out of New York on 9/11 before, not today, but when I used to live there. But it was definitely just an eerie feeling, and just wild. So it's just obviously, the slogan they always got, never forget, because 24 years ago, I know we could have a whole nother conversation, but I'm sure everyone remembers very vividly the exact moment where they were. I remember walking to biology class in high school and all that happening. It was just bizarre. Like, is this real? Is this real? And so very life-changing for us all. But had to mention that before that. But to switch gears back to some positive stuff, Dynamite's residence is coming to an end. Well, officially tonight in Philly because they're pre-taping Collision. But it's been awesome. I think last night definitely was one of the highlight crowds of the residency so far, man. They were on fire from the get-go. I mean, how could you not when you're starting the show with the world champion too, and an awesome banger match we'll get to shortly. But how'd you feel about the crowd? And
it was full of sickos, man.
So many awesome chants throughout the whole night.
Yeah, and boy, the sickos got rewarded last night too in so many different ways.
Did they ever?
Yeah. I mean, there was some. I'm not going to call anybody out, but there was one. Super Tan Granny was in there. She looked like Ricky Morton with a spray orange tan, and I was just loving it. The crowd was. This was the sickos, the diehards. I was loving it. It was our people. They were coming up with crazy chants, the bald chants, everything. It was
socks
in fuego. It was socks was great. And they got rewarded too because of a lot of the stuff that happened. So I don't think there was a mismatch at all last night. And I know we're going to talk about the Tony Storm and Sky Blue match, the tribute to Sandman, and I think Sky Blue was doing a tribute to Daphne, but we could talk about that. But everything from the start of the show to the end was friggin' incredible. It was, I think last night's Dynamite was almost like a Valentine to ECW fans. I think like the others have been more Dynamite-ish. There were some things here and there, but last night I feel like was a tribute to ECW.
It was if they ended the residency for last night, I think it would have been a good cherry on top the way it ended for sure. In quite the unexpected but kind of expected fashion. But look at the card that we got for this. I mean, they announced the card, a lot of great stuff. They've been doing a great job with social media. We saw this on social media early on before the street fight. essentially she was knighting Tony Storm, knighting Sandman, and
Yep.
Sandman gifting her the old lovely kendo stick to be used later in that night. Man, I can't wait to get your thoughts on that match. But the opening match of the night was absolutely incredible. I don't know. I felt like you start that match up and it is a tough one to follow. It is a tough bar that is set for the night. And man, I a couple people online and I'm really, or have been saying it, and I'm really supporting it, that I do agree Josh Alexander should get some of his flowers over the last few weeks that he has been. So when his debut hit, I was like, okay, fine. I never followed him too much in TNA and any other promotions. And then I was like, okay, Don Callis, I could see it. He's a good heel. But honestly, the last month or so with his multi-man matches, and then this one kind of cherry on top, Alexander really impressed me with his offense, his selling, his storytelling, his just being this nasty heel. And of course, Hangman just putting on championship caliber matches every single time. And one of my favorite things afterwards is, the most important word. Hangman had a couple good quotes, but the most important word in all elite wrestling is wrestling. And you want out of a champion, whether it be a TNT champ, world champ, women's world champ, any of those, you want a fighting champion who will wrestle. Yeah. And Hangman is doing that. He did not slow down since he's won that belt. I mean, he won that belt on, what was it, Saturday, and then he was wrestling the Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's like, geez. How do you think about this match kicking things off?
I want to piggyback and echo what you say about Josh Alexander. I mean, granted, he's in that same caliber of Bryan Danielson on the Full Tilt Deb, bag of people she doesn't care for. But I have a lot of respect for him. When he was in TNA, when he was TNA champion, he was the man at TNA. In fact, when under Scott D'Amore's TNA, he was the man. Way back when he was tag team champions with Ethan Page, they were getting on my radar. And this is back when I was really only paying attention to AEW. And so they were getting on my radar back then. He is still, I believe, the Maple Leaf Pro Champion, which is Scott D'Amore's Canadian promotion, which I think Tony Khan next year for Forbidden Door should bring them in. I mean, I think it would be a mutual thing. And, Josh Alexander is their champion. He is tremendous. He reminds me a bit of a mix of Claudio and Kurt Angle, if that makes sense. And I don't know if it's the headgear or the singlet, but whatever. But like he definitely has a lot of that like workhorse backbone kind of thing. I think putting him with the Callis family, and even though he lost to Hangman in his debut, putting him with the Callis family makes sense. And he's not somebody to be underestimated. And unlike last night, though, his previous two matches, he got the visible pin.
Right.
So he's been getting some good like pats on the back, if you will. So I thought that I definitely think he's somebody to keep an eye on and somebody that'll continue to move up the company. But again, something else that Full Tilt Deb and I agreed on last night was Hangman Page has the hero, the man. He is top of the mountain. He is the AEW champion. This is the first time he was champion before. This is the first time Hangman is truly the man. He's truly the champion. He carries himself as such. And like you said, he's a fighting champion. He's continuing to defend his title, or in this case, it was a non-title grudge match. He's still wrestling. He's not hiding. He's also finally confident in himself. He's got that balance, and he had to go through the swerve stuff and the burning of houses to get to the point where he finally knows who he is, flaws and all. And I love it. He is our main guy, and he's arrived, and I love to see it. The match was fantastic all night long, and you're going to hear me say this about every match. My top performer of the night changed like 5 times last night. And
there were so many standouts last night, so many different standouts and so many different levels, whether they won or lost. And it was just like, wow. Yeah. That's why it was just such a well-rounded card of really heavily featured wrestlers both in the ring,
Yep.
on the mic, promo work, and it is just incredible. This is, Brent saying it might be his favorite champ so far. I think this second reign,
Yeah.
even though it's still in its infancy, could go down as one of the best in AEW,
And
especially with
I
the
loved
ultimate payoff that
Hangman
we
with
wanted.
I loved Hangman with the Dark Order. I thought that whole storyline was great, but where he is right now is he's the best champ we've had, and that he's light years better than his first reign, in my opinion. And that's saying Jericho's first reign, or Jericho's reign, Kenny Omega. Like, I loved all of those reigns, but to me, I feel like this is the man right now.
Yeah, and if it can continue at this pace, it'll hands down be at the top of the food chain there. After the match, though, we had the challenge officially been accepted by the champion, and yes, we in typical Philly fashion, Brent wears socks, FTD wears socks. Let's do an STD check right now. The live action. No socks at the moment. I'm a sock guy, but it's funny. I don't ever not wear socks with suits, and I don't really wear floods like Fletcher. I know it's the look and the style, but you could see almost in these. What I love about this small arena is because any chant can be popped like that. They did something with the Ricochet chant. I think didn't they spell out balding or something? But the bald and where the socks, and you could see both guys kind of smirking in a sense, trying to hold back, and then Hangman throws that line about you being a wrestler and you can't even put on socks, and obviously that was a little ad-libbed, but at the same time Fletcher and Hangman both were almost shushing the crowd. They're like, this is a very serious moment, because it was a very serious promo, and these guys, including Fletcher, just is this is the feud we knew he wanted maybe eventually, but it's giving to us possibly because of a curveball. This could have been Wardlow's spot right here, but unfortunately due to his injury. But Fletcher has stepped up in such a short time in this role in terms of challenger for Hangman, since we didn't really have a clear challenger, and done astronomically good. And this one, especially after last night's promo face-to-face, the chills I had for that. And, Hangman putting him over too, in a sense too,
really?
Seeing himself and him, 5-6 years ago. And it's one day it will be passing of the torch, but it's not going to be next weekend.
Kyle Fletcher has arrived. The Kyle Fletcher that we are going to continue to see grow and be a new pillar of AEW. He's arrived. This photo right here shows that he belongs in the main event picture, and he does. Now, is he ready to take the title? No, he's got a lot of storyline growth he's got to do, but he is definitely I don't want this to be just a simple comparison, but I keep going back to Kyle Fletcher is AEW's Randy Orton.
Right.
I feel like, and I'm not just saying because he kind of looks like him and he does the arrow thing instead, but I really, oh yeah, there's Tan Grandma on the far left there, by the way. There she is on the far left.
No, I see her in the
blonde. Ricky Morton's mom. But yeah, I feel like Kyle Fletcher, he did everything he did everything right in portraying somebody that belongs across from Hangman in a promo battle like this. Hanger, again, didn't tear him down. He put him over, of course, with the socks and stuff, but Fletcher can hold his own. And it's so funny to remember Kyle Fletcher as this one half of Aussie Open, this young kid. Now he's really evolved into this solid singles competitor that we're going to see. I'd love to see him do a stint in Japan, kind of follow in Takeshita's footsteps, do the next G1 Climax. I think that would be great. I do think he will be a world champion in AEW at some point. I do want to touch on a couple things too that you mentioned. You mentioned Wardlow, with his torn pec. I know you heard from the other company. Cody had his torn pec. He still kind of wrestled. He was in pain. I think they need to still have Wardlow around Callis. He doesn't necessarily have to wrestle, but if they got at this point, you got to keep Wardlow on TV. He's got to still have a presence. And now we neglected to mention, probably because I don't want Full Tilt Deb flipping out on me, but we did have somebody extra on commentary all night. And I guess it's going to be an official thing going forward for at least a while.
Not all night, forever.
Forever, huh? All right, forever. We got Bryan Danielson on commentary. And as you can see, one thing that Full Tilt Deb and Don Callis have in common is their reaction to seeing Bryan Danielson on commentary. I think Deb made the exact same face. I get a kick out of it. I actually thought he did very well. He had some really great insights, but
always does.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's replacing Tony Schiavone as of now, and I honestly thought he was going to replace Taz, but you need that some kind of heel on the commentary. But I do really enjoy his input over the last few weeks that we saw. I felt like that was maybe like his trial run, his preseason, to see if he really wanted to be involved in it. And I think he did a great job. So it's going to be Taz, Danielson, and Excalibur, the glue of any commentator team, Excalibur, on Dynamite. It looks like it's going to keep to be Tony Schiavone and Nigel on Collision, and maybe Ian Riccaboni, which I love. I wish he was featured more. Maybe be the wild card, substitute teacher, understudy, or wherever you want to throw him on that. So I'm loving the commentator stuff. And yes, the smirk of Callis on it as well.
What a great face. Great stuff. Yeah, I love it. Is it time to talk about this match?
Let me hear it, mine.
All right. Okay. So was this the best women's match of the night? No. Was I excited for it? Absolutely. Did it deliver? Absolutely. We had, of course, everybody loves Rio. Everybody. And she did not disappoint. She was on fire. And her what a great tag team partner with Windsor. Windsor was a great tag team partner in this. And of course, you know how I feel about Her Highness Emi Sakura. I really wish Emi Sakura had more TV time. She's such a great veteran. And she has mentored so many, not just Joshis, but so many female wrestlers and I think pairing her with Mercedes in this regard, I know a lot of it has to do with, Riho being comfortable with her mentor. I thought this was a great pairing. I thought it was funny how somehow Mercedes got Emi Sakura to kind of hold the rest of her belts. I thought that was pretty cool. Emi's such a great wrestler. I would love to see an Emi versus Alex Windsor one-on-one at some point.
Yeah, that'd be hard-hitting one.
I was a little bit, again, Riho, she's kind of, and Deb pointed out that Full Tilt Deb pointed out that her hair grew a little bit longer, so she looks a little different. I would say there were some clunky spots here and there, but I overall, I thought this was great. Was it the best women's match of the night? No, because we're definitely going to talk about arguably match of the night. I know that it's stiff competition. One of the things I liked about this, though, is that, I feel like we know Riho's not going to defeat Mercedes. Spoiler alert for our All Out preview show.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this is a good, I want to say, interim challenger for Mercedes.
For sure.
And I'm going to say something a bit controversial, but I actually have come around on Mercedes Moné. I know the character, we're supposed to not like her with the belt collecting, and eventually it's getting old and all that. But I think that's kind of like how MJF gets under people's skin.
Right.
But she has really gotten into this character. There's subtleties that she does. There's a look or a reaction, or, she slithers out of a move. To me, I feel like she's paying attention to a lot more. She's earning the money that they're paying. Tony Khan's paying her a lot of money, but I feel like she's earning that money now, and she has established herself very well. I didn't feel this way in the beginning, but in hindsight, I think some of that had to do with, Britt Baker wasn't exactly in a good place when she took her on, as that one opponent. So I am actually enjoying her. However, I feel like Alex Windsor is the best thing to happen to the women's division in the last 6 months. As far as additions, she is fantastic. She's a future champion, you know, regardless of who her husband is, because her wrestling style is so different. And maybe Brent, the general, will agree with me on this one. Full Tilt Dead does. I see classic Thunder Rosa style in Alex Windsor's wrestling, and that's what I loved about Thunder Rosa. And Alex Windsor's kind of in that vein. I mean, I'd love to see a Thunder and Windsor tag team, but Alex Windsor, she comes across as a veteran. She's a power player. Oh yeah, I like in the chat saying we need Sheeta back. I would love to see Sheeta involved in a lot of this. But Alex Windsor is going to continue to be she's going to be another one of those new pillars, similar to like how Fletcher is now. She's going to be one that we're going to continue to see and thrive in the women's division. She's a future champion. And yes, I think we need to run back Windsor versus Monet at some point.
Yeah, I think so too. But, as I was saying in the chat, like, she's not going to give up the belts until they hit that Jade magic number, which is going to be Wrestle Dream next month. So we have a temporary feud with the Rio former champ, another notch on Mercedes' belt that's going to be really establish her as a, really historical champion. That's the same thing with Hangman. Like you're fighting these like legit former champs or potentially future champ wrestlers that you're really establishing your reign to be reputable. And this match, yes, a nice back and forth. I love the pairing of both teams, hard hitting, and a good way to ease Rio back into AEW with a nice tag team match with someone who's getting over. And I think it was one of those like iron sharpens iron with Windsor and Rio, like really helping them both. One, get Rio reintroduced back to AEW fans, and obviously she can do no wrong as a babyface, but also help continue to put Windsor over as a babyface, because in my opinion, early on, it was kind of like a tweener in a sense. We were excited, but the pairing against Athena early on, I felt like kind of was like hurt her a little bit in terms of the babyface stuff. It was a great match, but I love the feature of this. So I'm curious, like Tony Khan's comments recently about possibly, Women's Continental Classic, tag team belts, and he's saying if the roster is healthy, like at this point, when there's no better time than now to strike on in something like that. The core and most of the roster is healthy. Like, who is on the shelf that is physically can't wrestle? Like,
I don't know. I don't think bringing Britt Baker back. What's that?
I call that bluff.
Yeah, I think that it's time. Because at this point, I think there's people that are on the shelf that may not be. It's not an injury thing. There's probably other reasons why they're on the shelf. But I think, and Tony Khan is as a creative guy like that. I feel like Tony Khan he gets an idea in his head and he's like a dog with a bone with it. Like like it had to be Statlander that took the TBS title off of Jade. It's almost like he waited for Statlander to come back before he did that. Whereas he could have, I think Tony struggles with pivoting on his ideas when injuries happen. But yeah, I mean, I think Sheeta should be back. Sheeta should be in the mix. I think it'd be great. There's
some of these
so
aren't
much
even injuries. As you know, people are healthy that don't have a storyline.
Yeah.
What better time to bring people back if they're healthy than a tournament or any of some sort,
A Continental Classic would be great, but I think a tag team tournament. They're there. You've got Mega Bad, you've got Ty J, Harley Cameron. You could put with anybody. You could put with Broom, and she'll make it a great tag team. I think they definitely. It's time to pull the trigger. There's so many ready.
Right.
Oh, so. This is the match that made me change from Hangman as my top performer, because now I was torn between both of these guys, because I love that Shelton Benjamin is getting the TV time and getting to really show what he can do. I'm not bagging the other company, but I think he got lost in a lot of the shuffle there where he just, from the moment he showed up in AEW, Shelton Benjamin has been just on fire, showing. In fact, I love Bobby Lashley, and I love MVP, but Shelton's my favorite member of the trio. He is just but yes, Ricochet is also what I said about Shelton Benjamin, I can say about Ricochet times 10. This dude is such a great heel. He's so great to watch in the ring. And it's not just his flippy doos and maneuvers, but his selling and just his ring awareness, his storyline selling in the ring. I had to find a picture of this. If you got to watch the clip. There's twice he does this. Once during the match, then once again at the aftermatch melee, when Shelton Benjamin gives him a super kick and Ricochet folds backwards like a pile of laundry. Have you ever see those like Halloween clips, like TikToks, where the kids are in the store and the jump scare and they fall? It's like he fainted and it turned into a pile of Beetle Bailey laundry. It was such a great match. So both of these guys like punched into work. And I was, at this point, it was between Ricochet and Shelton Benjamin for top performer. I love this match, and the crowd was into it. And of course, the aftermath, you knew the gates of agony were going to come out. And did you catch MVP's move with his cane? How he flipped Bishop Khan? Like he did like a thing where he like pushed his cane at him and then he did like a monkey flip or something. Like it
happened so fast on the outside. It was a lot going on, chaotic near the end there. But in typical heel fashion, he's obviously not keeping to his word and doing it at all costs to get the W. Yeah. But yeah, Shelton definitely dominated this match, man. You don't even need to say it, but like at 50 years old, it doesn't matter. Like, he could be 100 years old. Just how you move in the ring is just absolutely impressive. But the back and forth of this, and you said the art of selling, Ricochet, I would say, since Pac is not healthy, it's got to be one of the best sellers in AEW, and that just is perfect to make anyone a great dance partner with. Like, you want to work with someone like that because Ricochet's offense is absolutely incredible, but his selling and his over emotions in a good way is so fun to watch and so fun to follow. And it works so good as a heel too. Yeah. And all the stuff that he does is it's fantastic. The pairing of this could have definitely gone both ways. Obviously, I kind of predicted that too, to really get more heat on the heels, which they're going to continue to get more and more and more and help the Hurt Syndicate. I'm excited for this one. I felt like, long-term storytelling of Ricochet kind of, wanting to be in the Hurt Syndicate and then getting the card back. Does the Hurt Syndicate regroup after All Out and recruit another member? Like, what do you see happening? Because MVP, I don't imagine him being a full-time wrestler or kind of like a specialty wrestler that he's been doing. Do they need another member? Are they going to continue to be a group but kind of do solo stuff? Like, I'm curious to how it's going to go after this. However, like, this match was so fun, so fun.
Dude, I'd like to see them recruit a fourth member. I kind of did like the MJF stuff, but I didn't like how it ended. But I'd like to see them recruit a fourth member, and of course, bias hurts, and they should recruit Wardlow. But again, I think that ship has passed. But it'd be interesting if maybe they recruit Hook, because Hook had another one of those mysterious promos,
right?
And it was, his I've come back from vacation or whatever that song is. And he made the comment about how he's smoothed it over with the ops. And he says, I don't need a group, but maybe I do. And my first reaction is, is he hinting at like maybe Death Ride or something? Then I thought about, what if Hook was the fourth member of the Hurt Syndicate? It'd
be interesting to see him in suit and dress up, because you got good looking guys like the Bobby Lashley and Shelton in that classy suit.
Well, look at him in this picture. He's wearing a gold watch. He's got nicer pants. You know,
I don't know. So I think Hook needs some kind of revamp. You know, like he clearly is kind of is has and always been over with the crowd, getting better and better to stand on his own. I would like to see maybe a little solo stuff going on right now, but I think if you could pick like two guys to join a Hook faction that maybe not necessarily are as obvious, who do you think would be kind of a good faction with Hook? Do you anyone come to your mind? It doesn't have to necessarily be an established
I
faction
mean,
or
if
create one.
is Hook in charge of the faction, or is Hook part of a faction possibly led by someone else, or not really a leader? Like, I don't see him being a faction leader. I could see
No.
him actually kind of burying the hatchet with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. You know, almost like taking over the Marco Stunt spot, but in a much
Ha!
more serious spot. Um, Hook and Garcia together, says the Snake, as a tag team. That would be brutal.
Two
That would be
smaller guys. Technical stuff for sure. See,
yeah.
I would like Hook plus whomever, but also be paired up with Kingston.
Eddie Kingston.
You have like the New York kind of guys.
I mean, Ortiz. You can put Ortiz in there, but see, I think Eddie is just Eddie. By the way, I think he actually tweeted or Instagrammed. Eddie Kingston said that the check cleared from Tony Khan. The contract looks good. He's gonna beat Big Bill's dumbass very soon, or something like that. So the
That's
Eddie
cool.
coming. I don't know. Eddie and Hook, that could work. That
I don't know.
That,
I don't know. That's the joyful thing of like
yeah.
unpredictable booking.
Yep. I'm not even sure they know what's in store for Hook, but we'll
Probably not.
we got I went a little too far ahead just to that, but
Oh, I see what you mean.
incredible promo from MJF responding to it. You know, he's really, talking about how on his wedding day, but he's married to this business and he's married to the hate he has, and he's gonna just ruin Mark Briscoe. Another MJF is another one of those guys. The character MJF is an asshole. He's a bastard, but I think that the guy himself, if you saw how many people from AEW were at his wedding, I think deep down, I think in the locker room, he's actually a very stand up dude, and he does a lot. He does what Hangman does, but he does it as a heel. He puts these guys over. He's putting Mark Briscoe over with this feud. He does it in this heel way, but he never truly buries anybody. Like he doesn't bury anybody so that they don't look good. He puts them down, but in the heel way that they get to look good as well. And I think this, for him to do this for Mark Briscoe says a lot about who MJF really is behind the scenes. And I think that this was such an incredible promo, and just I'm looking forward to finding out what Briscoe's going to decide, and for their kind of match. It would be who knows, maybe a dog collar match. I bring back the exploding death match, barbed wire match. Bring that
It's
back.
going to be a chicken shit match.
Coop. Yes, it'll be a chicken coop match. And then awesome promo for the 7-time World Tag Team Champions. What's funny is Full Tilt Deb never got into wrestling until AEW. AEW is when she converted. So she never got to see long hair Christian. And this kind of triggered her. I won't say it triggered her a little bit, but it kind of surprised her because she never experienced the Edge and Christian. Was it the 5-second pose? That's so long ago. But yeah,
there's so many shenanigans stuff that you would always do.
But here's what's interesting. I was thinking about how Christian has changed over the years, but he's still he was an asshole back then. That's what made both of them so much fun together. Is they were both just great heels. They were both, but they backed it up with their athleticism. Christian's still Christian. He's just more grumpy and old now, but it's that's how he was back then. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Brett says he hated when Christian cut his hair, but But he had to, I think. But yeah, this is good stuff.
I
I thought,
thought
and
the
if
Renee Paquette vignette narration
yeah,
about FTR and these guys really put the stamp of how important this match is for both teams.
yeah,
I think it was like how many times champions Edge and Christian were together. It was just
mhm,
incredible a stat, but also the incredible stat of how long it's been since they've tagged
yeah,
together and how long they haven't tagged together in Canada. So it's like a huge homecoming for these guys, and very, very important match for them. And
mhm.
they are definitely, I mean, they're gonna be my pick on the bingo card, that's for sure. I mean, you gotta have that happy moment of the night for sure, because the first time they're tagging up together like in their hometown, come on, give the
we don't
people what they want.
and we don't have a graphic for it, but that promo afterwards from FTR, how they're getting into it with the fans and bump
They're
and
doing
knock
so
the
good.
cameraman. I mean, and like I said before, adding Stokely to them, I did not think was going to be as good an idea as it does. It, I didn't think it was going to be a good idea at all, and he is so perfect with them. He enhances FTR. They're already great, but he has just completely enhanced them. I think the whole thing is great. And yes, when we finally get this match, when this match happens, it's going to be glorious, and it's going to be really cool to see.
So excited for this one next weekend.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about it. So up to this point, I think I was actually leaning towards a Shelton Benjamin top performer because that
Wow.
match was fantastic. Ricochet, but that's the thing. Ricochet was the other. It was between the two of them, and again, recency bias. Hangman was fantastic, and then I watched this match, this Philly Street fight, and good lord, good googly moogly, this match was fantastic. Now I knew Sky Blue was going to be great because she's done the death match before. I mean, if you
Right.
remember, I think she had it was Willow. I think she had one with a long time before
A
she injured
couple
her
she's
leg.
had.
She's had a few. But good gravy. Tony Storm with her tribute to Sandman was phenomenal. She, like, the whole actress thing. She came out, she was Sandman. She had his walk, she had his scowl, her lipstick was all smeared. She and she did the beer drink and the smash in her head thing. I mean, this was such a tribute. And I didn't have the graphic here, but there was so much cool plunder. There were so many gimmicks, including RJ City's audition tape. Lost audition tape was one of the things they had in there. There was a record for something there. There was so much good plunder. One of the things I thought was insane, and I didn't even realize. I thought it was a paddle game thing or something, but I guess it was an electric fly swatter that it's like a stun gun kind of thing for
Have you ever
flies.
played with one of those?
I've never played with one of those, but now
Yeah,
I'm
that'll shock
curious.
you.
But so it definitely got the shock. But I think the OMG moment, there were two OMG moments last night. One was the stapling in the nether regions of with the staple gun, but also the two of them were on the apron, and it was one of those, are they not? And then when she pulled out the mouse traps and it had the I smell a rat, I cheered. That popped me. The mouse traps popped me back at Full Gear 2019 when Moxley was wrestling Kenny Omega and Kenny Omega pulled out a mouse trap board. I hadn't seen it done ever, and that was the first time I saw it. And when I saw it done here, the mouse traps, oh, it just made me so happy. And I love the fact that the table didn't break, so she got stuck with even more mouse traps.
Brutal.
Nod to Sky Blue. I'm pretty sure she was doing a bit of a nod to Daphne, who's another legend, and rest in peace, Daphne. But I feel like that Sky Blue came to work. She put on a great show. We all knew Tony Storm was walking away the winner, but what a great! I mean, I was. This was a Valentine to EC Dub. I was chanting EC Dub as well as the crowd. This was fantastic. Tony Storm has earned the blessing from Sandman. I think that this was everything it was. To me, this was my match of the night. And we still have to talk about the 10-man, which was fantastic. But I felt this gave me everything I wanted in wrestling. Toni Storm is brilliant. I am so happy she's getting to thrive like she is. She has struck gold. She has struck Bitcoin. She has struck diamonds with this timeless characters that she continues to subtly reinvent, yet still stays that same character. And then, of course, we had the aftermath, and you knew this was coming. Now, that is this suggesting that we have a Tekla versus Toni Storm title match feud in our future? I think it's premature, but that could be coming up. And we also got to see, because it's going to be one-on-one, the four-way we're going to have it was interesting. But we also got to see Hayter get involved and accidentally knock Statlander down. So
I know the big clothesline with that.
Yep.
You said it all, not to echo you too much about Toni Storm and just the incredible work that she's been doing. But, ever since I would say last month or so, she's kind of just been like bouncing around a little bit of here and there, like nothing really sticking too much. But after last night, I felt like it was almost just like a reawakening of Toni Storm, a different side of her, which we knew she had, really came out, and it was a reawakening of her just being a total complete badass and just being loved even more. Not that she wasn't, but then finally was able to officially put that stamp of the 4-way match on that we're going to get it all out, which, ironically I predicted a 4-way match, and it makes me nervous though. Any 4-way match always makes me nervous of a title change. And Storm is such a captivating, electric person and character. I just feel like it works so good. It turns it up 5 notches more that she's the champ. So I don't know what's going to happen at All Out, but this whole thing, this whole back and forth, so many people involved. Talk about the depth of the division. It is all over the place lately. That's why I'm calling bluff on too many injuries in the women's division. It is flooded with talent. It is flooded with talent right now. And we're going to see that even more tomorrow night, Saturday night on Collision on a 10-woman tag match. So plus Tony on commentator. So that's 11 ladies featured in the main title picture, essentially, because you have Mercedes doing her own thing with Rio and Winza and Emmy and anyone in between. So that's a whole nother sidebar thing. So I'm excited. It is, as we've spoken highly about, the women's division is thriving right now. Thriving.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, in the chat, they're talking about how, Stat's going to go heel with Marina Shafir for a tag team, and I think that might lead to Willow and Harley Cameron versus Marina Shafir Stat. Be interesting to see how Marina's going to get involved with all of this.
Right.
And just kind of touch on what you're saying about the roster's ready to go. Let's just do it. And you mentioned earlier talking about Mercedes and all of the champions that she's gone through, all the wrestlers she's gone through. She's gone through just about every women's champion. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Riho now. And, I think Sheeta at some point. I think she wrestled
Sheeta, yeah.
Now, the one female wrestler that she hasn't wrestled, and I think I don't even know where she is, but I think that Nyla Rose should make a comeback and try just do a little feud with Mercedes. Just again, another interim wrestler champion until we get to that 100-day that Jade target or whatever, not 100 days, but that target
508 day.
But I think you need to continue the whole thing. I think Mercedes needs to feud with Nyla. Nyla would be hilarious to feud with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did she beat Nyla? I don't think she beat Nyla.
I'll look up the match list while you're talking about that.
If she did, then there you go. But I think a feud with Nyla would be great. Nyla would really just, she would come out and do the CEO thing. But if she has beat Nyla, then yes, I think you need to get everybody She needs to go. Oh, there it is, July 17th, 2024. The General
That's right.
has it on the books. Well, there you go. She's beaten every champion.
Dynamite 250.
Yep. So there you go. She's beaten every champion. So now Mercedes needs to get to the Jade number, get above that, and then start losing those belts.
Yeah, next month, and I think it'll kick off for Wrestle Dream for sure. Thank you, Brent, for that fact checking of that. I do like the way you're talking about with the. I don't know if Statlander, if someone does win that match and takes it from Tony at All Out, I think it's almost makes sense for Statlander because of if she does have a turn. And there was little nuances in the previous match or last week's match, I think it was, where she did like one of Wheeler's moves to win that one pin.
Wheeler did the little whisper in his ear.
Yep. Yeah. And so there's little hints there, like Death Riders recruiting Garcia at the end of Dynamite last night and Statlander. Like, I mentioned on my show or on our show a few weeks ago, I was like, I don't know what we do with Garcia, but I didn't want the Death Rider. I know it's going to work and it's going to be great, but I didn't want the Death Riders to start recruiting armies like the Callis family. It's almost like the Callis family army. Now Death Riders essentially have their own Callis family army with all of their guys, excluding Pac, who's been on the shelf. But we'll talk about that. That's how that panned out at the end. But before this, we saw a promo backstage with the Young Bucks in catering, which was so I loved this thing. Beautiful. They're back there getting catering. Dark Order didn't want them to sit with the table. If you saw, Alan Angels was in there too. And then, Cutler posted on his social media for the first time in a long time that he was moving to Florida. And I was like, oh, maybe he's going to be back in the scene. I don't know what he's been doing. Now that BTE-ish is kind of back, I don't know if he's going to be helping out with that. And then we saw him backstage and he shoot away the Young Bucks as well. But just like when you turn on the lights, the cockroaches scurry and Moxley shows up and everyone else scurried away because they're scared of Moxley on this one. And I love the way he did this with the Young Bucks. Just show up to wrestle. You get all the money is yours, $250 each. I don't know. I felt like this is a really surprising promo and impactful segment before the match.
I thought it was genius. I think it completely draws the line between the Bucks and the Death Riders. Like Moxley doesn't care about the money, but he knows that the Bucks do, and he knows that by doing this, that's going to give them the exact fire they need to be the Bucks of old. Mox is a supreme Machiavelli, this character that he is. He's pulling strings, and like he keeps talking about a higher purpose. And back when we were scratching our heads with this whole Death Riders thing, we were kind of wondering what was going on. But just just watch that payoff when Hangman finally opens that case and pulls the belt out. I mean, there were tears. It was like it was such a great moment. So I think there's genius in the stuff that Moxley's doing, and I think the continuation, he knows how to kind of put things in a certain light and sell things a certain way, and I think he's 100%. Doing that with the Bucks too. He's helping kind of navigate the Bucks to, who knows, maybe an eventual reuniting with the Elite to take on the Death Riders or something. So
that's I don't know. I want.
I think this was great. I think it was a great way to set it up. And of course, a little foreshadowing, the backstage picture from the Bucks. They got their money. Look how happy they are. They're like, oh, so happy. I thought that was fantastic. But
take the money and run.
Though, but of course, before they got the money, the intro was Matthew Ron John Massey, Nicholas Lee Massey, and I love the tag. It says government
real names. Yep, real names. If you read their book, which highly recommend reading their book, Killing the Game or Killing the Business or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Very, very good book. Pulls back the curtain a lot. And I can't wait to read the AEW book that's going to be coming out soon too. So that's going to be a very interesting read on that one. But All-Star 10-man tag team champs, trios champs versus Death Rider and Young Bucks. Another one of those just like hard-hitting, back and forth, salivating main event, giving the crowd a good spot to go home in terms of pure wrestling. and another chance for our guy Bandito to shine, man, as well. Like he started the match and had a lot of high spots as well. And I'm hoping that we get a match announced for All Out with these guys somehow. I mean, there's no direct competition at the moment other than potentially the Young Bucks because we saw what happened there.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Who are the Bucks wrestling at All Out?
Are we going to get some kind of all-star match or something like that? Yeah, I have no idea. No. That's a good question.
Could we possibly see somehow Brodito versus the Bucks?
Their match in the tournament was fantastic. So if there needs to be some kind of way they earn that spot, because no tag teams have stepped up to earn a tag team title spot yet as of late, because they haven't had any one-on-one matches. There hasn't really been, other than FTR or Christian Cage. I mean, do you not put your tag team champs on the card? I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to do. And then you kind of have whoever wins the Cage versus FTR match be like, okay, you know, we beat you, now we want gold, whomever is it. So like, could go that way. I like that. Another 500K on the line.
Yeah. Another that.
At what point?
I think that's brilliant.
I think the Bucks are they are flirting with the babyface turn, and it has been over the last, I think, since All In. At what point do you think it's going to be that point where they go over the edge a little bit and
I don't know,
to get the cheers?
They're kind of paralleling Hangman's descent into self-hate, and so they can eventually rise from it. So I think it's going to happen at some point. Hey, BR in the chat. Yay.
What's up, bud?
Oh, babyface Bucks. I like that idea. It's good stuff. I think they're on that path, but they've got to go. They got to hit rock bottom before they can build themselves back up.
Or if they come out and they come out to rescue Hangman after his match, because after that, I feel like after that match with Fletcher, which is going to be a banger, I feel like win or lose, you're going to have some callous shenanigans. And I feel like Hangman is alone right now, other than maybe a couple people, but like I feel like he needs. There we go. What is up, BR? Thank you. Hit it.
Super chat.
Let's hit it,
man. There it is.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Let's really get it.
All right.
Oh, wait. Super chat, buddy.
Thank you, BR. Awesome.
What you guys in the chat? When do you think the Hangman, since we are having a super chat party about the Young Bucks and talking Young Bucks, when do you think the Bucks are going to really kind of start to take those stepping stone steps to babyface again? Because I would love that, and I think it's got to be for them to get any kind of redemption, any kind of love as a babyface. They have to involve themselves with something with Hangman or Kenny, in my opinion. Like that's the ultimate way to become a babyface, is to help the top guy.
Yep.
AKA Hangman.
If Kenny's last days of wrestling are coming up, which I hope not.
Don't break my heart. Don't break it.
I just feel like he kind of knows he's limited. So I don't know if they're going to try to get to a point where they got to do that one last, I'm getting too old for this, one last ride, and I wonder if he was kind of trying to do it with Kota. We haven't seen Kota Ibushi.
I know.
In a while, since he
didn't get any points on my fantasy team.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's peculiar. I got to say something about Brody King and Hobbs together. Gave me chills. I mean, it was meat tag team. The Hobbs, throwing the dudes over the ropes and then holding the ropes open so Brody King can do a suicida, and just powerhouse Hobbs destroying fools. Wheeler Yuta hitting him in the back with a chair, and Hobbs just doing his like, you just effed up, my dude.
Right.
I love that, and the crowd was in it. This was such a freaking crazy great match. everybody involved in this match last night are in the top of AEW. Now, granted, that's not all of the top of AEW,
Right.
but everybody was so good. And then I actually was shocked more that it happened like then than that I Garcia joining the Death Riders. Wow.
It fits so good with Garcia's
Yeah.
MO, and he's been speaking of flirting, he's been flirting with going heel, very hinting that for a while now,
Yep.
and finally he's going all in. And as much as I like factions with like big meaty men, like Callis always says he likes his men big and meaty, and
Yeah.
whatever he says,
These are
the
fighters.
style
Yeah.
of Garcia works for the Death Riders, just like
So
the
much
style
better than
of
yep.
Yuta works with it too.
So much better than the Jericho Appreciation Society. I mean, that was kind of a funny gimmick. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
sports entertainer. I mean, that was funny gimmick, and you're a wrestler and all that. But this actually is an upgrade to Daniel Garcia by being he's not just a wrestler, he's a fighter with this crew. And I think
Right.
that's what's in store for him going forward. So yeah. And as a Gabe Kidd isn't around, and Pac is, who knows where Pac is.
Right.
This is a good addition. Yeah.
I think you need a full rebrand with Garcia. You don't have to go bald like Mox, but give him a different gear. Give him some pants like Yuta has. Give him some pants like Moxley has. Put on some, like combat boots. Like I think you gotta go into the Death Riders almost like he's his Moxley's protege. Like you're almost like trying to turn him into yourself. You got to do that. I don't want him to see him in his red trunks or any of this stuff. Like I want a full rebrand with Garcia to go all in with heel, because he is a really good heel. And contrary to most people, I'm happy we're going to not see the Garcia hump dance for a while. So that ran its course, and I'm okay with him not doing the hump dance for a while now.
The hump dance.
Not see this coming, like you said. This was definitely I did not see it coming this soon, and this brutal with the curb stomp, face stomp onto the chair twice. Really impactful. I mean, it's just a shame Darby is such a punching bag for so many people, man. Ugh, I know. It's like he gets thrown around so much. As much as we love Darby, like he's reckless and fun, but also at the same time he is the crash test dummy for a reason, and it's hard to watch sometimes. It really is.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at what you did. You know what you did. And are we going to see Papa Maji? Is Daddy Magic going to have to get his ass beat by Daniel Garcia?
Oh, I'm sure. I think you're definitely gonna have to have some sacrificial lambs to really put him into the heel mode. Garcia or Daddy Magic definitely is gonna have to confront him somewhere backstage and just take an ass whooping.
What are you doing, Daddy? You're breaking my heart.
I know. You're giving me a taste. Now, top performer, we've been talking about it for the whole show of how many wrestlers and performers were standouts last night, and this was definitely one of the few shows where it's like put all the names in a hat, pull one out, and that could be your top performer of the night. But to me, Hangman, really, I just loved that match. I just thought it was such a great back and forth wrestled match, abusive match, really brutal spots too. And then to the cherry on top was the promo from Hangman. And I mean, I know why you picked Tony, because she blew our skirt off for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, and I could have still, if it wasn't for the Tony Storm Sky Blue match. There you go, Snake. I'm with you. If it wasn't for that match, I could have picked anybody from the 10 man was fantastic. Hobbs, Bandito, Brody King, the Bucks, Moxley, but Tony Storm, it so encapsulated Sandman from ECW, and Sky Blue was a great dance partner for this kind of match, but Tony Storm was just in her element. I love that she can do this kind of match. She's so versatile and yet still in this character. I was grinning from ear to ear for the entire match. That's why I watch wrestling, and that's why I got into AEW. It's why I love AEW. And Tony Storm is top 3. she's in my top 3 of wrestlers right now. She's my number 1 female wrestler right now. She's just always delivers. She's got it all.
Yeah,
Top
and I don't want her reign to end. And I just want keep it going as long as possible, because it is always fresh, always fun, and very. I mean, we talk about it. It's a highlight of our show to talk about. The highlight of our show, let's just say maybe the low light of our show right now, is our ranking now, because anyone here at Dynamite Download, we are getting mopped with the floor, Mind Runner. What are we going to do? I mean, if we put our points together, we'll might be able to chase Steven down. But Steven, at that commanding 20-point lead on me, 18-point lead on Mind Runner. Whew. But like you said, you take Steven's name away, and it is a tight battle, that's for sure. But really, really taking names and kicking ass for sure on the draft right there. We are coming down to the home stretch of season 6, ending at All Out next Saturday afternoon, and next week we're going to have our preview show, so we'll figure out a time that works with you and your schedule, Mine, but maybe like Friday night or something like that, the night before. But stay tuned for that. We'll figure out our preview show by next week. But
Gray is on there twice. That's because Ranger Man is the other one. That's my bad. I was actually moved. I do alphabetical order, so I moved Cray, but Ranger Man is the other one. So sorry, apologize to Ranger Man. I feel so bad. Ranger Man was killing us in the beginning.
I know, man. He was first place for the longest time.
Yeah. Oh, that Full Tilt does his total his points, and he's beating Steven. All right, yeah. There we go. Cray is on twice, and he doubles his points. We didn't tell you about that rule. No, this has been fun. It's still fun to do this. It's been such a blast. I just like you said, if it wasn't for Steven, this would be such a tight race. Except, and Courtney's going for that first seed draft pick for the next season, of course. But I'm excited. I'm happy. I think it's great. It's such a great way, because this could have been anybody. Like, an injury. A lot of us banked on some returns that didn't happen. And sometimes you bank on somebody that starts, like in Ranger Man's case, you get somebody that starts off strong and then fizzle out. And then sometimes you like a 5th round pick for you suddenly starts cashing in. So
I was in first for a little bit too. And then I had a little comfortable lead. And then I slowly, I don't think I've gotten a point. I've maybe gotten like 1 point over the last 3 weeks. It's been brutal, but still a lot of fun.
You didn't get a single point between Dynamite and Collision this week. I can't believe, and I'm
don't rub it in.
At least putting one in. I'm not rubbing it in. It's the opposite. I'm surprised. I
know.
Usually there's at least one SBD, if not 2 or 3.
I hope. Hologram is usually good for 1 a week, but I don't know what's his glitching is something's wrong.
And Willow's been on TV, but
I know
Willow hasn't been getting any dubs at all. So
I know.
All right.
Well, you guys. DD episode 207, that is a wrap. Next week is 208 plus preview show, and we're going to have an awesome time watching All Out in the afternoon. So really good stuff. Thank you all, as always, for joining us and for the super chats and everything in between. We appreciate you all, and enjoy Dynamite, and it's going to be pretty interesting. I can't wait to talk All Out, because the card is shaping out to be very, very strong. Very strong. This is going to be 3 super strong cards in a row ever since All In, Forbidden Door, then All Out. Boom, man. They are cooking with fire.
Hey, maybe BR should join the next draft. BR,
yeah, we've been wanting you to join the draft.
Yeah,
you better join the draft next time.
Yep. We're trying to build up some allies to defeat the Snake next season. We got
Steven the Snake.
Remember how at the beginning of this whole thing, my vow was just to beat you?
I know.
And how we almost like 2 heels joining forces to defeat a common enemy. Now we're like, no, we got to stop the Snake. The Snake, I know.
We're like, NWO is coming at you.
Oh.
Well, that's just 2.
Whee!
We'll see you all next week, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Good night, everybody.